Good day, kids. This is an African folktale bedtime story by StoryNest Africa. This is an elephant who forgot his promise. Long ago, deep in the green heart of the forest, there lived a gentle elephant named Tembo. Tembo was the biggest animal in the jungle, tall, strong, and powerful. But despite his size, he had a soft, humble heart that loved peace. One afternoon, as Tembo made his way to the river for a drink, the ground suddenly gave way beneath him. Before he could lift his foot, he slid into a deep, muddy pit, a trap left behind by hunters. He struggled, trumpeted, and pushed with all his strength, but the mud held him tight. He cried for help, but the forest remained silent. No animal came. Just when Tembo was losing hope, the bushes rustled. Out came Kuma, a tiny tortoise, with a slow but determined walk. Hold still, my friend, Kuma called out. I will find some vines to pull you out. The little tortoise walked with all his strength, dragging long vines to the edge of the pit. Tembo wrapped his trunk around them, and with Kuma pulling and Tembo climbing, the elephant finally rose from the muddy trap and stood free once again. Grateful Tembo bent down to the tortoise. Kuma, he said warmly, I will never forget your kindness. I promise to help you one day. Kuma smiled gently and replied, promises are easy to make, my friend, but keeping them, that is where true strength lies. Tembo nodded, but as time passed, he forgot these wise words. Weeks later, the forest faced a terrible drought. The rivers dried up, plants withered, and animals searched desperately for water. But Tembo, with his great memory, found a secret water hole hidden between rocks, enough for only a few animals. One day, Kuma arrived there, thirsty after a long search. Dear Tembo, he said softly, may I drink a little water? But Tembo, guarding the water hole, frowned and said, this water is for the big animals. You are too small. Go find your own. Hot, the tortoise bowed his head and slowly walked away. Days later, Tembo wandered to the same water hole again. He was so focused on drinking that he didn't notice the hunter's trap nearby. With a sudden snap, a strong net sprang up and wrapped around him. Tembo roared, kicked, and called for help. But this time, the forest stayed silent. Minutes later, he heard a tiny voice. Tembo, I'm here. Kuma, the tortoise, appeared from the bushes. Without a word, he began cutting the ropes with the sharp edges of his shell. It was slow work, but he did not stop until Tembo was finally free. The huge elephant lowered himself before the tiny tortoise. Forgive me, Kuma, he said with shame. I forgot my promise. You have saved me twice. Kuma smiled kindly. Even the mighty fall, my friend. But wisdom is remembering kindness. From that day on, Tembo changed. He shared his water hole with every creature, big or small. He helped animals whenever they were in trouble and never again allowed pride to cloud his heart. And so the animals of the forest will tell this tale to their young ones. Never forget a helping hand, no matter how small it may be. Moral of the story, gratitude is the root of friendship, kindness, and peace. Thank you. Subscribe to StoryNest to Africa for more timeless folk tales and bedtime stories.